So this is a training video for my advanced students, and I'm sharing this with you all. So advanced participants, welcome. This is how to understand when people are speaking very fast. Now, that's a twofold way. One road, it means you know a lot of words, phrases, verb endings, verb conjugations, pronouns, etc., etc., because your brain cannot process what it doesn't know. If you speak to me in a language I don't speak, I'm never going to understand. So once you know enough words, you've been on Duolingo for 3 or 4 years, you've lived in Mexico and immersed yourself for 3 or 4 years, whatever method you use to learn. So you have the knowledge, you just now take too long to process what people are speaking. By the time they're like on word 10, you're still translating in your head word number 3. To jump over that, I'm going to show you how it's primarily sound focused. And so some of the things that I say, the syllables kind of stick together, which we all know they do. And now that it's on YouTube, you can play with the settings. You can speed up the recording, or you can slow down my rate of speech and see. So I'm going to speak normal. I'm going to tell you what I'm saying, speak normal. And then I'm going to speak a bit extra fast. So you can play with the different speed settings and test yourself how much you understand. But I promise you this, it only takes a few times for our brains to get it. So the first time you understand when somebody's speaking something that sounds like a mumbo jumbo, it's one long train, but you actually got it 3 seconds later, you're like, oh, I understood what he said. When that thing happens for you 3 or 4 times, that process eventually clicks into your system, and now your system is capable of replicating it. It will do it over and over again. That skill will never go lost. So yes, it takes a long time to reach to that point, but once you've done it several times, your system internalizes it, and that process runs forever. So let's start. I'm gonna say a bunch of phrases with he. So as you know, hemos ido, has estado, no te hemos visto. He is the 5 words that mean I've, you've, we've, they've, he has, she has, etc. Followed by a verb with an ido-ado ending. That's part of my advanced course. We learned that. So if you don't, ask me for the notes. But once you have actually learned that and you want to listen to it in real life, here's how it sounds. No te hemos visto. No te hemos visto. Le he estado mal. Le he estado mal. Le he estado mal. Le he estado mal. Te hemos traído algo. 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 Notice how I said it 5 different speeds. Obviously, my accent is not everybody's accents. We have regional accents in Mexico. So if you live in Tepoztlán or in Puerto Morales, if you live in Riviera Maya or Mexico City or in Oaxaca or Puebla, there are different accents, especially in Nayarit, Jalisco, Baja. There's a whole range of accents, right? Somebody that went to college, somebody who never went to college, kinds of things. So my accent is not everybody's accent, but the good news is everybody pronounces Mexico like Mexican Spanish. The way we speak it in Mexico, it's one of the easiest ones to understand. Because 100%, hands down, Puerto Rican is harder, Dominican Republic is harder, Cuban is harder to understand, Argentinian, Spain. They swallow a lot of the syllables. A lot of the syllables don't sound very clear, meaning the way we write the word, the way we actually say the word, you can't really trace it back. So in Mexico, it's quite clear and straightforward. I know it sounds fantastic at this point, but trust me, this is a scientifically proven fact. So again, hemos ido. Hemos ido. Hemos ido. Look at it. It sounds like I'm saying one word. Hemos ido. That's the word you hear, right? Hemos ido. I am actually saying 2 words. Hemos ido. Hemos ido. Hemos ido. Hemos ido. Hemos ido. I actually make a point of pronouncing the H because I learned Spanish as my 3rd language, actually my 4th, and I teach Spanish. So for the benefit of my students, when we learn he or hemos, we're like hemos. you spell with an H. So we make a point of saying it. Actually, native Spanish speakers, they don't. The H is silent, and we always, H is most likely followed by a vowel. So we always just say the vowel. So hemos, H-E, native speaker would just say the E. Hemos ido. Hemos ido, we've went, or we've gone. We've gone is actually more better English. We've went is not the good English. English is my third language. So, hemos ido. No te han visto. 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 Another one. No te lo hemos traído. No te lo hemos traído. No te lo hemos traído. You notice that it's longer, right? This is actually a 4-word formula that we use. If the sentence is negative, it always starts with a no. So no is the first word, and it's typically the one that's easier to hear. Our brain always processes when a sentence starts with a no. No te hemos traído. No te, there's the pronoun. So if it's an interaction, the pronoun comes first. But if it's a negative, like negative, didn't do it, no comes first, then the pronoun, and then hemos traído. The hemos and the verb with ido, dado. That's the two-step formula. No te hemos traído, no lo hemos visto. No lo hemos visto. We haven't seen him. No le hemos visto. No le hemos visto. No, let me say it fast. No lo hemos visto. No le han traído. Nunca hemos ido. Nunca hemos ido. Nunca hemos ido. Nunca hemos ido. Notice how it's all of a sudden easier to understand me when I say it really like properly, slowly break down every word is notable. No te hemos ido. Or whatever, I forgot what I said. You can rewind. Anyways, moving on to the next one. No lo hemos encontrado. 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 This is me speaking like if I'll in the supermarket or whatever my everyday errands. That's how I like normally speak with a native speaker. So you can slow down that bit. Actually, I want you to slow down that bit. Listen to it as many times as you need. I want your ear to train your ear to grab every one of those 4 words or even a 2-word set. And that's the training. Here's another one. Nos han prometido. 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 They've promised us. Nos han prometido. Promised. They've us. Nos han prometido. Nos han prometido. Nos han prometido. Nos han prometido. Okay, this is enough for now. You can leave me a comment if you want more of those. When I work with my students, I have an advanced course on that and a lot more topics for the past tense. So I give you all the notes, all the list, the 5 hair words, I've, you've, they've, we've, the IdoDar verb formula, which essentially says if a verb ends with AR, get rid of the AR, plug in an ado. Comprado, buscado, manejado, rentado, trabajado, worked, driven, rented, etc. And if the verb ends with IR or ER, you get rid of the last 2 letters, plug in an ido. Ha sido, comido, vendido, visto, ido, I don't know, querido, etc. Anyway, so that is the training. You need notes, reach out. You want to join our practical conversation lessons every Friday and Monday. Reach out to me too, but morning and afternoon times. But the main purpose is you need to implement that information. You need to go out and speak to people. You need to write down some notes. You need to actively dedicate attention to it and time during your work, during your week. So about 3 hours a week. It's going to guarantee you a consistent progress. Let me know if this has been helpful for you and what do you need future videos in the comments. Have a great day.